Nora Seed is a woman who feels like she has run out of reasons to exist. At 35, she is living in her small town, feeling the heavy weight of every bad choice she has ever made. Her life is a collection of almosts. She almost became an Olympic swimmer. She almost became a famous rock star. She almost got married. But in her current reality, she is lonely, she just lost her job at a music store, and her cat, Voltaire, has passed away. To Nora, it feels like the universe is sending her a clear message. The world does not need her anymore. She decides to end her life, believing that her story has reached its final, miserable page. Instead of disappearing into nothingness, Nora wakes up in a place of infinite mist and structure. She finds herself in a massive library that stretches forever. The clocks are all frozen at midnight. This is the Midnight Library, a place between life and death. To her surprise, the librarian is Mrs. Elm, the kind woman from her high school who used to play chess with her. Mrs. Elm explains that every book on these shelves represents a life Nora could have lived if she had made even one different choice. There is a heavy, gray book called the Book of Regrets, which contains every what-if that has ever haunted her. Mrs. Elm tells Nora that she can try on any of these lives to see if there is one she truly wants to stay in. Nora's first instinct is to fix her biggest romantic regret. She chooses a life where she stayed with her ex-fiancé, Dan, and followed his dream of opening a country pub. In her original life, she had called off the wedding just days before the ceremony. Now she finds herself behind the bar of the Three Horseshoes. At first, it seems like a dream come true, but she quickly sees the cracks. Dan is unhappy and drinks too much. He is unfaithful and dismissive of her. Nora realizes that this wasn't her dream, it was Dan's. She discovers that even fixing a regret can lead to a reality that is just as painful as the one she left behind. She returns to the library, ready to try again. Next, Nora tries to address the guilt she feels about her cat. She believes Voltaire died because she was a bad owner and didn't keep him safe. She enters a life where she kept him strictly indoors. However, she finds him dead under her bed anyway. Mrs. Elm explains that Voltaire had a heart condition that no amount of care could fix. This realization is a turning point for Nora. She learns that some things are beyond her control, and she can stop blaming herself for every tragedy. She begins to see that her root life wasn't as filled with failures as she thought. Many outcomes were simply inevitable. Nora then dives into her success lives. She becomes an Olympic swimmer, the version of herself her father always wanted. She is wealthy and famous, but she finds that her father is still disappointed in different ways, and her mother is gone. She tries the life where she stayed in her band, the Labyrinths. She is a global superstar playing to thousands of fans in Brazil. But in this version of reality, her brother Joe is dead from the pressures of that very lifestyle. These experiences teach Nora a vital lesson. Fame and achievement are not shields against sadness. Every life, no matter how shiny it looks from the outside, comes with its own set of struggles and heartbreaks. Searching for something completely different, Nora enters a life as a glaciologist in the Arctic. Here, she faces the raw power of nature. During a terrifying encounter with a polar bear, something shifts inside her. In the face of immediate physical danger, she realizes for the first time that she actually wants to live. She meets another traveler named Hugo, who is also sliding between lives. He explains that everyone has a version of the library and a guide. This encounter makes Nora feel less alone, but she realizes she is still searching for a place where she truly belongs. She begins to understand that she has been living everyone else's dreams, her father's, her brother's, her friends', and never her own. After trying dozens of lives, becoming a poet, a traveler, and an aid worker, Nora asks for a gentle life. She finds herself married to Ash, a kind man who had once asked her for coffee in her real life. In this world, they have a young daughter named Molly and a dog. Nora is a professor, and her life is filled with love, stability, and warmth. For a while, she thinks this is the one. She starts to forget her old life and settle into the role of a mother and wife. But she soon notices that while she is happy, she is living a life she didn't earn. She sees that in her absence, the people in her original life suffered. Her piano student, Leo, got into trouble without her guidance. Her elderly neighbor lacked the help he needed. The midnight library begins to shake and crumble. Mrs. Elm warns Nora that the library only exists as long as there is a spark of life left in her. Because Nora has finally decided she wants to live her own life, she can no longer stay in the perfect one she found with Ash. The library catches fire, symbolizing the end of her transition. To survive, Nora must find the one book that represents her original life. She finds it, but the pages are blank. Mrs. Elm tells her that she is the author now. Nora grabs a pen and writes, "I am alive," with every bit of strength she has left. Nora wakes up back in her original apartment, gasping for air. She manages to get help just in time. This time, she doesn't see her life as a collection of failures. She sees it as a collection of possibilities. She reaches out to her brother, and they begin to heal their relationship. She hears from her friend Izzy. She starts teaching piano again, helping Leo find his way back to music. She realizes that you don't have to play every move perfectly to enjoy the game of chess. Life isn't about finding the perfect world. It's about being present in the one you have, and realizing that as long as you are breathing, there is always another move to make. The story ends with Nora visiting the real Mrs. Elm at a care home. They sit down to play a game of chess, just like they did when Nora was a teenager. The heavy burden of regret has lifted. Nora understands now that she doesn't need to be a glaciologist or a rock star to be special. The simple act of living, with all its messiness and uncertainty, is enough. She looks at the board, ready to make her next move, no longer afraid of the future. She is finally home, not because her circumstances changed, but because she changed how she looked at them.